Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تعالى في القرآن الحكيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَلَوِ اتَّبَعَ الْحَقُّ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ لَفَسَدَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَنْ فِيهِنَّ بَلْ أَتَيْنَاهُمْ بِذِكْرِهِمْ فَهُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِهِمْ مُعْرِضُونَ صدق الله العظيم. The translation of this verse is as follows. And if the truth were to follow their desires, the heavens and the earth and all those who are in them would perish. Certainly we have brought them their reminder, but they turn away from their reminder. Chapter 23, verse 71. And I'm continuing last week's topic of the concept of truth in the Holy Quran. In this verse, and if the truth were to follow their desires, truth could mean Allah, God, since Haq is the name of Allah, or it could simply mean truth. If the truth were to follow their desires, then the heavens and the earth and all those who are in them would perish. We want everything in this world to follow our desires, whether it is the events around us, life, death, weather, anything you can think of. We wish things happen as we want. But God says here that the whole system of the universe would collapse if it ran according to anyone's desires. That system of the universe runs according to certain laws. The weather cannot remain sunny all the time. It must also rain. We cannot remain in a state of pleasure and satisfaction all the time. Difficulties must come in our way. And there has to be night. It cannot be day all the time. And there has to be death. not only birth or the coming of new life, but death as well. And on another point, since the beginning of human history, we have had absolute rulers, dictators, autocrats who have tried to run their countries according to their wishes and desires. But they largely failed in their ambitions to make things happen as they wanted to. And even where they succeeded in enforcing their desires, it brought disaster for them and their countries. So moving on then, as God is truthful and he has laid so much emphasis on it in the Quran, as we saw last week, similarly, human beings are required by the Holy Quran to follow the truth and to be truthful. And the Holy Quran praises any people and commends any such people who adhere to the truth, even if they belong to other religions. And it says about a group of the Bani Israel, the Israelites, the Jews, as follows: and from the people of Moses, there is a party who guide with truth, and with it they do justice. Chapter 7, verse 159. So there they are praised, a group of followers of Moses, for guiding with the truth and doing justice. And then we have that well-known short chapter of the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Asr. And in there it says that time provides evidence that man is surely, human beings are surely in loss, except those who believe and do good and urge one another, teach one another to truth. وَالتَّوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَالتَّوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and urge one another, exhort one another to be patient. This, of course, is chapter 103 of the Holy Quran. And this chapter tells us that time proves that those who adhere to the truth and truthful ways are successful, but they have to be patient and wait for long to see success by adhering to the truth. During that time, they must be steadfast on remaining on the right course. And you can always find ways, shortcuts of achieving a quick success and an immediate way out of your difficulties by using some false means or by going against truth and true principles. But if you do that, then this says that the passage of time, the passage of time will show that such short-term successes, in the end, they all add up to failure in the long run. As prophets of God were models and examples to their followers, they were all truthful to such a high degree that even their opponents who rejected them, even they knew that their prophet was truthful. And we all know of various incidents from the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which illustrate that his opponents were convinced, absolutely convinced, that he always told the truth. And in the Holy Quran, the description truthful, Siddiq or Sadiq, is applied to some of the earlier prophets. So in Surah Yusuf, the story of Joseph, Yusuf alayhi salam in the Holy Quran, a man went to him, sent by the king, to talk to him in prison. Joseph was confined in prison, and the king sent a man to him to ask him to interpret a dream which the king had, which no one could understand. And that man, according to the Holy Quran, addressed Joseph as follows: Yusuf ayyuha Siddiq, that Joseph, O Siddiq, O truthful one. Chapter 12, verse 46. And then the following prophets, Idris, Abraham, and Ismail, are all called truthful in various verses of chapter 19 of the Holy Quran. And about Mary, Maryam, the mother of Jesus, the Holy Quran says, Wa ummuhu siddiqa. And his mother, the mother of Jesus, was a truthful woman, Siddiqa. Chapter 5, verse 75. Now, coming to Abraham, the Holy Quran states clearly about him, Innahu kana siddiqan nabiyya. That the full verses and mention Abraham in the book, surely he was a truthful one and a prophet. Chapter 19, verse 54. So that is what the Holy Quran says. But there is a hadith in Bukhari, according to which the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, Abraham did not tell a lie except on 3 occasions. Lam yakzib Ibrahimo illa salasa kazabat. And this hadith is found in authentic books, other authentic books of these like Sahih Muslim. It is found in that Tafsir ibn Kasir that Abraham did not lie except on 3 occasions. And then in those hadiths, those so-called 3 occasions are mentioned. But the hadith does say that when he did lie, he lied for the sake of Allah, for a noble purpose, and not for any selfish gain. Now, there is an English translation of the Holy Quran, officially endorsed and sponsored by the Ministry of Religious Affairs in Saudi Arabia, called the Noble Quran, translated by Dr. Al-Hariri and Dr. Mohsen Khan. And in this translation, under a certain verse of the Holy Quran, they've quoted that hadith in full. I don't know why they've done it or what relevance it had. The hadith which begins, Abraham did not lie except 3 times, and here are those 3 times. And they have quoted that hadith in full, as if they want to announce to the world that Abraham lied 3 times. However, Maulana Muhammad Ali Sahib, in his Urdu translation of Bukhari, has commented on this hadith as follows. And I've translated his comment. Here it is. Any hadith which contradicts the Quran cannot be accepted. The Quran calls Abraham as a truthful one, a prophet. According to classical Arabic dictionaries, Siddiq is one who has reached perfection, the height of perfection in telling the truth, whose truthfulness has been demonstrated again and again abundantly, and who has never told a lie. And he is one who is so used to speaking the truth as a matter of habit, that he cannot possibly tell a lie. That is the meaning of the word Siddiq. To say that Abraham told a lie on 3 occasions is highly insulting and derogatory to his dignity. But our ulama cannot bear to accept that a reporter of a hadith could have made a mistake in relating this hadith, could have made a mistake, yet they are ready to accept that a prophet could have told a lie. A prophet could have told a lie about to whom the Holy Quran gives the title Siddiq. I see no reason why this hadith should not be rejected. So this is what Maulana Muhammad Ali writes in his Urdu translation of Bukhari under this hadith. And if you look at those 3 occasions which are mentioned, 2 of them are said to be actually in the Holy Quran. So we won't go into the 3rd one because it's not in the Holy Quran. And both those occasions are in connection with that same famous incident you will have heard of, when Abraham broke the idols of his people while they were away. And he broke all the idols except the chief, the head idol. Now, Abraham had been arguing with his people about the falseness of the gods that they were worshipping. And the Holy Quran says in this story, then he glanced a glance at the stars and said, surely I am sick. Surely I am sick. So they turned their backs on him, going away. Chapter 37, verses 88 to 90. And it's that part, Abraham said, surely I am sick. Now, commentators of the Quran say that Abraham's people were going to some pagan festival, but Abraham didn't want to go with them. And they say that he made the excuse, I am sick, in order to avoid going with them, so that he could remain behind and break the idols in their temple. That is what they say I am sick means. And this is one of those three lies he's alleged to have told. And in the Saudi Arabian English translation, official English translation of the Holy Quran, which I just mentioned, after I am sick, they put this in brackets. And I will now read what they put in brackets. He did this trick to remain in their temple of idols to destroy them and not to accompany them to the pagans' feast. This is what he, in that translation, is written in brackets to explain, I am sick. Maula Muhammad Ali, in his English translation of the Quran, also has put something in brackets, I am sick. What he's put is, I am sick, and in brackets, of your false gods, of your deities. And Maula Muhammad Ali says in his footnote that these words, I am sick, either mean I am sick of your worshipping what is not God, or I bear spite to your false gods, and not that I am suffering from some illness. And you all know how we have this in English as well. I'm sick to the back teeth of this thing or other. You're not talking about any physical illness. So this saying I am sick wasn't any kind of an excuse by Abraham that I am ill, I can't go with you, so I'll quietly remain behind and break their idols. He was telling them openly, I am sick of these false gods which you are worshipping. And in his Urdu commentary of the Holy Quran, Bayanul Quran, Maula Muhammad Ali Sahib writes this, which again I'm giving in translation. To say that Abraham lied in the way of Allah is absurd. The way of Allah and an evil deed cannot go together. Just as telling a lie is not allowed under any circumstances, similarly, for example, theft or stealing is not allowed under any circumstances. If an idol is decorated with gold jewelry, it is not allowed to steal that jewelry, even if your intention is to spend that jewelry on a good cause. Similarly, it is not allowed to tell a lie in order to get the opportunity to smash an idol. The mention of Abraham glancing at the stars before saying I am sick shows that the meaning is I am sick of what you worship, because his people also worshipped stars. Now, in the same incident, the other lie which Abraham is alleged to have told is what he said to his people after they returned. I am sick was before they went away. This is after they returned. And this is in chapter 21 of the Holy Quran. Abraham had said to his people, according to chapter 21, and by Allah, I will certainly plan against your idols after you go away. Chapter 21, verse 57. This shows that he warned his people about his intention, and he did not make a false excuse to them as to why he wanted to stay behind. And then the Holy Quran tells us in the next verse, so he broke them into pieces, except the chief of them, the head idol, that they might return to it. Verse 58. And when the people returned back, the Holy Quran tells us that they said to Abraham, have you done this to our gods? And his reply, as given in almost all English translations of the Holy Quran, is something like this. Have you done this to our gods, Abraham? He replied, no, it was this, the chief of them, who has done it. So ask these gods if they can speak, and they'll see if they can give you the answer. No, it was this, the chief of them, who has done it. And this is supposed to be the lie which he told, that he said it was the chief idol who had broken the other idols. But Maulana Muhammad Ali has shown that these words, no, it was this, the chief of them, who has done it, they can equally be translated as someone has done it. Someone has done it. This is the chief of them. So ask them if they can speak. And while preparing this khutbah, and of course I do actually prepare these khutbahs, I discovered that there's a publication entitled A Word-for-Word Translation of the Quran in English, and it's by two Muslim ladies, Shanaz Sheikh and Kausar Khatri. A word-for-word translation of the Quran in English. And in this book, under each Arabic word in a verse, they give just the translation of that word. And then also at the end, the complete translation of the whole verse. And in their translation, this verse is translated as, just like Maulana Muhammad Ali, Abraham said, some doer did it. Some doer did it. This is their chief. So ask these gods if they can speak. So Abraham did not say that the chief idol has done it. What he actually said was, of course, someone has done it. And you can ask their chief because he remains safe and sound, or you could ask the broken idols as to who broke them. Now, as regards this breaking of the idols, it appears that Abraham's people had warned Abraham that if he kept on speaking against their idols would bring them to harm. Their idols would bring them to harm. So he showed them that far from the idols harming him, he could harm the idols. And the idols couldn't do anything about it. And he demonstrated to them that their idols had no power to defend themselves, nor could their idols even tell them who had attacked them so that they could punish the attacker. And another point which occurred to me was, even supposing Abraham said that the chief idol has broken these idols, even if he said that, which is said to be an untruthful statement, the chief idol has broken them. Well, first of all, it can't be untruthful because people would obviously realize that that cannot have happened. But anyhow, even if he said that, he may be indicating by this, by saying the chief idol has done it, he may be indicating by this that there can only be one God. You see, those who worship numerous gods anywhere in the world always have a hierarchy of gods. The Greeks worshipped ancient Greeks many gods, and there's this Zeus, Z-E-U-S, as the head god. They always have one supreme or chief god above the other gods. And if he is the chief god, he can remove the lower gods from their position because he is the chief god, so that he remains the one and only God. And this may have been Abraham's argument to them, that the chief has done it. Even if he said that the chief of them has done it, that if there was a chief God, he is able to dismiss and disempower all the other lower gods, so that in fact even you realize that there is only one supreme God. And he indicates by this that in the same way, Allah has complete power over all those who are taken as gods by people. That just like your chief God, your chief God can break and destroy the gods under him and remain therefore the only God. Just like that, there is only one God who can bring to naught, who can destroy, disempower anyone else who is taken to be God by people. So that's all I have to say in this khutbah. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quran al-Azim. Wa nafa'na wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim. Innahu ta'ala jawadun karimun wa lakum barurur rahim. Alhamdulillah. Nahmadahu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. And now the durood. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. That may Allah raise to high rank and status the Holy Prophet Muhammad and his followers and make them a great blessed nation in the world, as he made the promise with Abraham that he and his true followers will be raised to a high rank and status in this world. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana. Oh Lord, do not make our hearts deviate after you have guided us. Wa hab lana min ladunka rahma, and grant us mercy from yourself. Innaka antal wahhab, you are the great giver of mercy. Allahumma ansur man nasara deena Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam waj'alna minhum. That Allah send aid and assistance and help to those who assist the religion of Muhammad and make us from among such people. Allahumma khzul man khazala deena Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wala tajalna minhum. That Allah make unsuccessful and bring to failure those who bring shame and dishonor on the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and do not make us from among such people. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. O Allah, O our Lord, grant us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and save us from the punishment of the fire. And Rabbighfir warham, oh Lord, forgive. Rabbighfir warham, and have mercy. Have mercy. Wa anta khairur rahimin, and you are the most You are the best of those who show mercy. You are the greatest of those who show mercy. You are the most merciful of those who show mercy. I mean, Azhibil Basar bin Nase Washfi Anta Shafi. O Lord of all mankind, take away illnesses. Washfi Anta Shafi, heal and you are the healer. La Shafi illa Anta, there is no healer except you. La Shifa illa Shifauka, there is no healing except your healing. Shifan la Yugadiru Sakama, a healing which doesn't leave a single trace of illness behind. Inna Allah yamuru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i zil qurba وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون عباد الله اذكركم هو وعباد الله اذكروهم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر عباد الله اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أكبر. And now we have the 2 rakat Friday Jummah first prayer.
اللہ اکبر اشہد ان لا الہ الا اللہ اشہد ان محمد رسول اللہ حی علی الصلاۃ حی علی الفلاح قد قامت الصلاۃ قد قامت الصلاۃ اللہ اکبر لا الہ الا اللہ
اللہ اکبر. الحمدللہ رب العالمین الرحمن الرحیم مالک یوم الدین ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین اهدنا الصراط المستقیم صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم ولا الضالین. القاریہ مل قاریہ وما ادراک ما القاریہ یوم یکون الناس کالفراش المبثوث وتکون الجبال کالعہن المنفوش وأما من ثقلت موازینہ فهو فی عیشۃ راضیہ وأما من خفت موازینہ فأمہ ہاویہ وما ادراک ما ہی نار حامیہ. اللہ اکبر. سمع اللہ لمن حمدہ
ربنا ولک الحمد
حمدا کثیرا طیبا مبارکا. اللہ اکبر. اللہ اکبر. اللہ اکبر. اللہ اکبر. الحمد للہ رب العالمین الرحمن الرحیم مالک یوم الدین ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین اهدنا الصراط المستقیم صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم ولا الضالین.
آمین.
الحاکم التکاثر حتی زرتم المقابر کلا سوف تعلمون ثم کلا سوف تعلمون کلا لتعلمون علم الیقین لترون الجحیم ثم لترون عین الیقین ثم لتسألن یومئذ عن النعیم. اللہ اکبر. سمع اللہ لمن حمدہ
ربنا ولک الحمد
حمدا کثیرا طیبا مبارکا. اللہ اکبر. اللہ اکبر. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. At-Tahiyyatu. Ashhadu an la Allahumma salli ala Allahumma barik. Rabbi jalni muki. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allahumma antas salam wa minkas salam. Tabarakta Rabbana wa ta'ala ya zal jalali wal ikram. Astaghfirullah rabbi min kulli dhanbin wa atubu ilayh. Rabbi ighfir warham wa anta khairur rahimin. Ya hayyu ya qayyum wa bi rahmatika astaghith wa bi rahmatika ya rabbil alamin. That then is the end of this Friday broadcast, and I hope that everything went well and fine. And after this, now we can say our 2 rakah sunnah prayers to complete the Friday service. So thank you very much for joining us, and inshallah, by Allah's will and permission, we'll meet again in 1 week's time, next Friday. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.